It's a theme park tragedy. It happened overnight. We mentioned this at the top of the show. At least 4 people were killed in Australia when a popular ride malfunctioned.
Amusement parks are supposed to be places of joy and excitement. But what happens when fun turns into a nightmare? From heart-stopping free falls to catastrophic malfunctions, these tragic deaths will make you question the thrill of the rides you love. Imagine walking into a park for laughter only to face an unthinkable tragedy. These chilling stories of design flaws, neglected safety, and sheer misfortune are not for the faint-hearted. Ready to uncover the dark side of adrenaline? Let's dive in. Number 1. Fireball Disaster, Ohio State Fair. In 2017, the Ohio State Fair became the site of a devastating tragedy when the fireball ride malfunctioned, resulting in the death of 18-year-old Tyler Gerald. The fireball was a thrilling ride, designed to swing passengers high into the air while spinning them around. It was supposed to be the highlight of the fair, but on that fateful day, everything went horribly wrong. The ride suddenly malfunctioned while Tyler was strapped in. The giant swinging arm broke loose, and the seat Tyler was in was sent flying off the ride, sending him and other riders hurtling through the air. Tyler was thrown out of his seat and slammed into a metal platform, suffering fatal injuries. His tragic death was shocking for everyone who witnessed it, and it left the fairgoers reeling. Despite being recently inspected and deemed safe, the fireball's structural flaws were later revealed. Investigators found that the ride had missed several key safety checks, including issues with the ride's restraint system and overall maintenance. These oversights turned a fun ride into a nightmare. Tyler's death wasn't just a wake-up call for the fair. It led to the introduction of Tyler's Law, which aimed to improve ride safety in Ohio and beyond. This law required more rigorous inspections and stricter safety standards for amusement rides. It's a reminder that even the most popular rides, no matter how fun they seem, can turn deadly if safety isn't a priority. For Tyler's family and the many affected by this, the fireball disaster was a painful tragedy that changed the way amusement parks look at safety forever. Number 2. Batman, the Ride Accident. Six Flags over Georgia. Families and friends gathered, ready to enjoy a day filled with thrills. Among the crowd was Asia Ferguson, a 17-year-old boy who couldn't wait to ride the famous Batman the Ride. This roller coaster was known for its twists, turns, and that exhilarating feeling of flying. Asia and his friends laughed and joked as they made their way to the ride, the anticipation building with each step. As Asia climbed into the seat, he felt the rush of adrenaline. The safety bar came down, locking him in place. The ride took off, soaring high above the park, leaving a trail of scream and laughter behind. However, things took a tragic turn. After the ride ended, Asia noticed he had dropped his cell phone. Without thinking about the dangers, he decided to retrieve it. He slipped through barriers and ignored warning signs. In a shocking moment, Asia found himself in a restricted area beneath the roller coaster. As the ride continued to operate above him, disaster struck. He was caught in the path of the moving ride. The unthinkable happened, and Asia lost his life in the most horrific way. After such a heartbreaking event, the park took action. They increased safety measures, adding more signs and barriers to prevent similar incidents. Asia's story became a reminder of the importance of safety. Number 3. Amrapali Park, India. Amrapali Park in India was once a popular spot for families looking for some fun and excitement. Located in the heart of the city, it offered a variety of rides and attractions, making it the go-to place for children and adults alike. However, in 2006, this seemingly innocent amusement park became the site of a tragic accident that left everyone shocked and heartbroken. The ride that caused the disaster was a roller coaster, a thrilling attraction that promised a rush of adrenaline. But things went horribly wrong one afternoon when the coaster malfunctioned. A young boy, no older than 10, was riding when the ride suddenly derailed. The child was thrown from his seat, and the roller coaster's car crashed to the ground, fatally injuring him. The entire park went silent in horror as people rushed to help, but it was too late. The boy lost his life in the blink of an eye. The accident was a wake-up call for the park and the entire region. Investigations revealed serious lapses in safety procedures and maintenance. The roller coaster had not been properly inspected for some time, and there were concerns about the condition of the track. This tragedy forced Amrapali Park to shut down its rides and re-evaluate its safety standards. It was a devastating loss, not just for the boy's family, but for the community as well, reminding everyone how crucial safety is when it comes to thrill-seeking. Number 4. Texas Giant Horror. The Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas was known for its massive size and terrifying drops. It was the kind of roller coaster that left you with your heart racing and your adrenaline pumping. But in 2013, this thrilling ride became the scene of a tragic accident that would forever change the park. Rosa Esparza, a 52-year-old woman, was excited to experience the ride. She strapped into her seat, ready for the thrill. But something went terribly wrong. As the Texas Giant raced through its twists and turns, Rosa was thrown from her seat. She fell to her death in front of shocked onlookers. Witnesses later described how terrifying the moment was, as they saw her slip from the restraint and fall during the ride's steep drop. After the incident, the park quickly shut down the ride, and investigations began. It turned out that the restraint system on the Texas Giant wasn't properly securing passengers, and Rosa's safety bar had failed to keep her in place. This led to a series of lawsuits, and Six Flags was forced to make major changes to its safety protocols. While the park tried to address the issues, the damage had been done. Rosa's death was a haunting reminder of the dangers that can lurk in even the most popular amusement park rides. The tragedy left a lasting impact on the family, the community, and the entire amusement industry, sparking a broader conversation about ride safety and improvements that still resonate today. Number 5. Fujin Raijin 2, Expoland, Japan. Fujin Raijin 2 was once a star attraction at Expoland, a beloved amusement park in Osaka, Japan. For decades, this park thrilled visitors with its rides and attractions, and Fujin Raijin 2, a standing roller coaster, was one of its most popular. However, in 2007, everything changed when a horrifying accident turned a fun day into tragedy. The coaster derailed mid-ride, throwing chaos into what should have been a thrilling experience. Among the passengers was a 19-year-old college student whose life was tragically cut short. She was killed instantly. The disaster also left dozens injured, with many rushed to the hospital. Investigators found a shocking reason for the crash: neglect. The axles of the roller coaster had not been replaced for 15 years. Years of wear and tear finally caused them to fail, leading to the devastating incident. The fallout was swift. Visitors lost trust in Expoland, and attendance plummeted. The once popular destination became a shadow of its former self. Less than 2 years later, in 2009, Expoland permanently closed its doors, unable to recover from the damage to its reputation. The story of Fujin Raijin II is a grim reminder of the dangers of neglect and the critical importance of maintenance and safety in amusement parks. What should have been a day of joy turned into heartbreak for so many families. It's a chilling example of how oversight and complacency can have deadly consequences. Number 6. Verrückt Schlitterbahn Water Park, Kansas City, USA. Verrückt was once the pride of Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City. Standing at over 168 feet tall, it wasn't just a water slide. It was a record-breaking thrill ride that drew visitors from all over. Riders climbed hundreds of stairs to reach the top, strapped into a raft, and prepared to plunge down at nearly 70 miles per hour. It was an experience meant to feel exhilarating, terrifying, and unforgettable. But in 2016, the ride became infamous for all the wrong reasons. On a sunny day in August, 10-year-old Caleb Schwab, the son of Kansas State Representative Scott Schwab, boarded the slide with two other riders. What should have been a fun day turned into a tragedy no one could have predicted. A weight imbalance on the raft caused it to lift off the slide's surface mid-descent. The raft went airborne and struck an overhead support bar. Caleb was killed instantly, while the other riders were injured. Witnesses and park staff were horrified. The accident sent shockwaves across the country. Investigators later uncovered unsettling details. Verrückt, which means crazy in German, had been rushed through its design and testing phases to secure its place in the record books. Safety concerns were reportedly ignored, and the ride was deemed dangerous from the start. Following the tragedy, no one rode Verrückt again. The slide was shut down immediately, and its towering structure was dismantled piece by piece. The incident led to criminal charges against the ride's designers, though the case was later dismissed. Verrückt's legacy is a dark one, a tragic reminder of what can happen when safety takes a back seat to spectacle. Number 7. Perilous Plunge. Knott's Berry Farm, California, USA. Perilous Plunge at Knott's Berry Farm in California was once a centerpiece out of the park. It promised a thrilling, heart-pounding experience. Riders would board a massive flume, ascend to a towering height, and then plunge down at a nearly vertical angle, hitting the water below with a gigantic splash. It was a ride designed for the brave. But behind the excitement lay a dark and tragic story that would haunt its legacy forever. In 2001, just a year after it opened, the ride made headlines for all the wrong reasons. A woman, eager to enjoy the thrill, boarded the ride. But as the boat ascended, something went horribly wrong. She slipped out of her restraint and fell from the towering structure to her death. The incident sent shockwaves through the park and left visitors questioning how something so preventable could happen. The restraint system, designed to keep riders safe, had failed her. Despite the tragedy, the ride remained open for years afterward, but its reputation was forever tainted. The park attempted to make adjustments to improve safety, but these changes only seemed to cause more technical issues. For over a decade, Perilous Plunge struggled to regain its footing, plagued by malfunctions and constant criticism. By 2012, Knott's Berry Farm decided to shut it down for good, dismantling the ride that had once been a proud attraction. Perilous Plunge is remembered as one of the most tragic stories in the history of amusement parks. It serves as a grim reminder that even the most thrilling rides must prioritize safety above all else. The excitement it once gave riders is now overshadowed by the devastating loss that no family should ever endure. Number 8. Mind Scrambler, Playland, New York, USA. The Mind Scrambler at Playland in New York was supposed to be a fun, dizzying ride that left you laughing and a little disoriented. It was one of those classic spinning rides where the lights flashed, the music blared, and the cars whipped around in chaotic patterns. But for all its excitement, the Mind Scrambler became infamous for two tragic accidents that ultimately sealed its fate. The first tragedy happened in 2004. A 7-year-old girl was riding the Mind Scrambler when she was thrown from her seat. She wasn't properly secured, and the ride's fast, jerking movements proved fatal. The park was devastated, and new safety guidelines were put in place to prevent anything like it from happening again. But just 3 years later, in 2007, disaster struck again. This time, it was Gabriella Garin, a 21-year-old park employee who had grown up visiting Playland. She was working on the ride, helping guests secure their restraints when another employee started the ride too soon. Gabriella was still inside the ride area when it began spinning. She was thrown from the ride and killed instantly. The accident shocked everyone, especially since the safety rules created after the first tragedy were supposed to prevent this exact kind of incident. After Gabriella's death, the Mine Scrambler was shut down for good. The Mine Scrambler's story is one of fun turned to sorrow, and it's a chapter Playland will never forget. Number 9. Derby Racer, Revere Beach, Boston, USA. The Derby Racer at Revere Beach in Boston is remembered as one of the most dangerous wooden roller coasters ever built. Back in its heyday, wooden coasters were all the rage. They offered a mix of thrills and fear, with their creaky tracks and wild, unpredictable rides. But the Derby Racer was different. Its reputation was stained with tragedy. Over the years, no less than 5 people lost their lives riding this coaster. Each incident was horrifying, and each one chipped away at the public's trust in the ride. The accidents all followed a terrifying pattern. Riders were thrown from the coaster's cars, often during the sharp turns or fast descents. The restraints, if they could even be called that, were minimal at best. It wasn't uncommon for riders to hold on for dear life, hoping the coaster didn't toss them out of their seats. The thrill came with a real risk, and for some, that risk became fatal. By the 1930s, the reputation of the Derby Racer was beyond repair. People had begun to view it not as an exciting attraction, but as a death trap. The park finally decided to tear it down in 1936, putting an end to one of the deadliest rides in amusement park history. The Derby Racer's story is a chilling reminder of how far safety standards have come in the industry. At the time, such tragedies were far too common, and the ride's history remains a dark chapter in coaster lore. What was once a source of excitement became a symbol of neglect and danger, forever etched in amusement park infamy. Number 10. Thunder River Rapids, Dreamworld, Australia. Thunder River Rapids at Dreamworld in Australia was a ride that blended fun with just enough excitement to draw families from all over. It wasn't the kind of ride you'd associate with danger. The concept was simple: a raft ride down a simulated river with twists, turns, and splashes. It was a staple at the park for decades, but in October 2016, everything changed in the span of a few horrifying moments. On what should have been a normal day at the park, tragedy struck when a malfunction caused one of the rafts to collide with another and flip over. 6 people were on board, but only 2 survived. The other 4 were either crushed or drowned in the chaotic aftermath. Witnesses described the scene as both shocking and surreal, with people scrambling to help as the horror unfolded right in front of them. The accident left visitors and staff in disbelief, and the entire country was shaken by the sheer brutality of what had happened. Investigations into the incident revealed a troubling history of mechanical failures and neglected safety checks. The ride had long been plagued by issues that were either ignored or patched up temporarily. The findings were infuriating and heartbreaking. Dreamworld was fined millions for the failure to ensure proper safety, and the ride was permanently shut down shortly after. Thunder River Rapids was meant to be a safe, family-friendly attraction, but instead, it became a symbol of preventable tragedy. The incident forced parks across the globe to reevaluate their safety standards. For many Australians, The memory of what happened that day at Dreamworld remains a painful reminder of how quickly joy can turn to sorrow when safety is overlooked. Number 11. Sydney Ghost Train, Luna Park, Sydney, Australia. The Sydney Ghost Train at Luna Park was a classic attraction that had thrilled visitors for years. It offered a spooky ride through dark tunnels filled with eerie sounds and sudden scares. On a cool night in June 1970, families and friends flocked to the park, unaware of the tragedy that was about to unfold. As the evening progressed, a fire broke out inside the ghost train. Flames quickly engulfed the wooden structure, and thick smoke filled the air. Riders trapped inside had little chance to escape. Panic spread among the crowd as people watched helplessly. Despite efforts by staff and emergency services, 7 lives were lost, 6 children and 1 adult. The news shook the entire nation, leaving a deep scar on the community. The cause of the fire has been a source of controversy ever since. Some suspected faulty wiring, while others believed it was arson. Allegations surfaced about inadequate safety measures and negligence. Investigations were conducted, but many felt the truth was never fully uncovered. Accusations of corruption and cover-ups only added to the pain and frustration of the victims' families. The ghost train fire had a profound impact on amusement park safety regulations in Australia. It led to stricter building codes, mandatory installation of fire safety equipment, and regular inspections. Luna Park itself was closed for several years following the incident. When it reopened, the ghost train was gone, but the memory of that tragic night remained. Number 12. Tidal Wave Pool, Action Park, New Jersey, USA. The Tidal Wave Pool at Action Park in New Jersey was once a popular attraction that promised fun and excitement on hot summer days. With its waves crashing and splashing, it drew in families and thrill-seekers alike. People loved to float and ride the waves, but beneath the surface, the pool had a dark and dangerous reputation that would soon make headlines. Nicknamed the Grave Pool, the Tidal Wave Pool was known for its strong currents and unpredictable waves. During busy days, the lifeguards struggled to keep an eye on everyone. With so many people in the water, it was easy for someone to get into trouble. Tragically, 2 people lost their lives while enjoying the ride. Both incidents highlighted the dangers lurking beneath the surface. The first victim was a young man who drowned after being caught in a powerful wave. The second was a child who became overwhelmed and could not stay afloat. Witnesses described the chaos as people scrambled to help, but it was too late. The incident sent shockwaves through the community and raised alarms about the park's safety practices. In the wake of these tragedies, Action Park faced intense scrutiny. The park had a reputation for being reckless, and the Tidal Wave Pool was a glaring example of that. It became clear that safety measures needed serious improvement. Although the ride was modified, the stigma lingered. The pool eventually closed in 2016, marking the end of an era. Number 13. Big Dipper, Battery Park, UK. The Big Dipper at Blackpool Pleasure Beach was a classic wooden roller coaster that captured the hearts of thrill-seekers for decades. Built in the 1920s, it was a marvel of engineering at the time, boasting steep drops and sharp turns that sent riders screaming with delight. The ride was known for its iconic structure, with its towering wooden frame and the unmistakable sound of clattering trains racing along the tracks. It was a staple of the park, drawing in families and adrenaline junkies alike. However, the Big Dipper also had a darker side. Over the years, there were several accidents that raised concerns about safety. In 1970, a tragic incident occurred when a train derailed, leading to injuries among the riders. The park faced intense scrutiny, and many began to question whether the beloved coaster was still safe to ride. Despite the accidents, the Big Dipper remained open, and riders continued to flock to it, drawn by the thrill of the ride and the nostalgia it evoked. As time went on, the park made efforts to improve safety measures, but the Big Dipper's reputation was forever marked by its history. In 2004, after years of operation, the ride was closed for renovations. Fans of the coaster held their breath, hoping it would return. When it finally reopened, it was met with cheers and excitement, but the shadow of its past lingered. The Big Dipper is remembered not just for its thrilling drops and turns, but also for the lessons learned about safety in amusement parks. It stands as a testament to the joy and risks that come with such exhilarating experiences. Number 14. Haunted Castle. In 1984, Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey was home to one of the most tragic accidents in theme park history. The Haunted Castle was an iconic part of the park, filled with creepy displays, fog, and spooky sounds. It was supposed to be a fun, thrilling experience, but it quickly turned into a nightmare when a fire broke out inside the attraction. The fire started late one evening, trapping 8 teenagers inside the haunted house. There were no sprinklers, and the fire spread fast, engulfing the building. The teens couldn't escape. They were stuck, unable to get out in time. 7 of them lost their lives in the blaze, and another was severely injured. The scene was heartbreaking, and the entire park was shaken. The aftermath of the fire exposed serious safety issues. The haunted castle was not up to code, lacking basic safety features that could have prevented the tragedy. Despite this, Six Flags tried to argue that the fire was set by arsonists, not due to negligence. The case went to court, but Six Flags was found not guilty. It was a legal victory, but it did nothing to ease the pain of the families who lost loved ones. The haunted castle was never rebuilt, and the fire remains the deadliest theme park accident on record. The disaster sparked changes in amusement park safety, pushing for better regulations and more oversight. It's a painful reminder that sometimes the things meant to entertain us can end in the worst possible way. Number 15. Disneyland's America Sings. Disneyland's America Sings was a beloved attraction showcasing animatronic animals and musical performances that celebrated America's history. Located in Tomorrowland, the ride opened in 1974 and quickly became a fan favorite. Guests would sit in rotating theaters, watching different scenes unfold as they moved around the stage. The attraction had all the charm Disney is known for: catchy tunes, colorful characters, and a fun, immersive atmosphere. But behind the smiles and songs, a tragedy occurred that no one expected. In 1974, just months after the attraction opened, a terrible accident took place. A 18-year-old Disneyland employee, Deborah Gale Stone, was working as a hostess on America Sings when she was caught between 2 rotating sections of the ride. The ride's rotating theaters were supposed to turn smoothly, but on that day, they didn't. As the section Deborah was working in shifted, she was trapped between the moving walls. Tragically, she died from her injuries. The incident shook the park to its core. Disney immediately shut down the attraction and launched an investigation. It was revealed that the ride's safety mechanisms weren't up to standard, and the design made it far too easy for employees to get caught in the rotating walls. The ride was eventually closed in 1988, and America Sings became a thing of the past. Disney made significant changes to their safety protocols after the incident, but for many, the tragedy of Deborah's death will always be tied to the once popular show. Thanks for watching another episode. While you are still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more quality content.